Hello, and welcome to Bring On the Medicine, a holistic healer summit. My name is Janae Robinson. I am the owner of Janae's Essentials in Burley, Idaho. I am a life coach, a yoga therapist, and the host of the summit. And I am here today with Mikea Knopp. Mikea is a shadow coach, intuitive artist, creator, and does intuitive channeled readings and clearings. She believes the deeper we dive, the deeper the healing. With shadow coaching, the unconscious is brought to the conscious, bringing depth of healing, not only for ourselves, but for the generations before and after us. So welcome, Mikea.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm a little nervous. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, it's like, where is this going to go, right? Where is this
Yeah.
what are we going to
The
talk?
unknown.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to start out because I see some of your art behind you.
hmm
And so, did you want to tell us a little bit about the pieces that are behind you?
Sure. So this one was, I actually painted it when I participated in your silent meditation retreat.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember what the prompt was that you gave us to sit with. It was like shortly after one of our breaks, and then we had come back and um, whatever the prompt was, I sat with it and just started painting. And it ended up being um, like what my soul looks like, or like what my essence looks like. And not, you can't really tell here. It's really glittery. But then the 4 points were an invitation for me to re-invite in my guardians, because I had a spiritual guide or somebody that did energy work that was like, oh, your guardians are blocking you from all these things. You need to invite your guardians to leave. And back then I was like, oh, you're right. I should do that. And so that meditation, it was like, you need to invite them back in to hold space for you. So I was like, okay, here we are. So, and then this one was I participated in the Soulfully Aligned Creative Mystic program with Janice Gallant. And when we first started, it was a guided meditation to bring in your spirit animal that would walk with you for the 9 months of the course. And when I did it, I was like seeing a wolf, seeing a raven, seeing a wolf, seeing a raven, white wolf. And I was like, which one is it? Is it this one? Is it that one? No, okay. I got to pick. And then when I looked both of them up, they both in nature, actually in the wild, like the ravens and the wolves run together. The ravens fly over and show the wolves where, the carnage or whatever is. Um, so that's what that one was. And I kept thinking, it's not done. But every time I go to paint on it, it's like, no, we're good. We're okay.
Yeah. Oh, I that's the one that I was really drawn to in just seeing you today was like, wow, that is so incredibly beautiful. I didn't notice the raven behind it just from where you were,
Oh,
but I can
yeah.
see it now. And then I remember when you were painting the one during that silent retreat. I remember
hmm
painting it, but I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the message that came through with this was a call to action. Will you answer? Like,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the waves of color were just like all of that's what was the colors that were like swirling around. And it was the only color that you could see besides the white of the raven and the white of the wolf. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I can see that you are really tapped into your intuition and
Yeah.
what an important aspect that is in coaching and leading with people is bringing them back to their intuition so that they can trust themselves, because we're told, oh, just pick one animal, right? And it's like, but what if there's two? Are
Right.
we deny that within ourselves?
Right. And that's where I was. I was like, I can't have two. So I was like, I'll just read them. And whichever one resonates most is the one that I'll choose. And it was like, no, if they run together in the wilderness, like they can run together in this program with me.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
like let's, and you are right. I love that you said like you know, we're all so caught up from our intuition, like, and that's where like I had that happen to me when I started working with my spiritual mentor. And this was in like, I don't know, 2013 or 14. I started working with a woman that she did energy clearings and readings and stuff. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then it turned into a mentorship. And eventually it got to where I started noticing like little things. Like I would be like, oh, I got this channel. I got this message in meditation. I saw this vision. And it was like, no, that's not what it was. This is what you got. And because of my conditioning growing up in an organized religion, it was like, oh, you know what? You're right. You know more than me. You've been doing this longer. Surely I don't know. And it took me walking away from her to see, like, okay, this is all me. This is coming to me for a reason. And nobody else gets, like, maybe it's not true for you, but it's true for me. So I like to lead clients more from that perspective. It's like, hey, you're here for this reading with me. This is what's coming through, but still use your own discernment. Like just because I say so, but oh, Micah said so. This is what I have to do. This is what it is. Like, no, most of them are invitations, like do or don't do. And if it doesn't feel right to you, then don't. It's okay. Because you have your own guidance. Like that's one thing all of us are given, right? Is
Yeah.
like this infinite source of wisdom.
Yeah, which is beautiful. And I have noticed that where there are people that want to control the outcomes of our spiritual walk for
Mhm.
whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. And and it is important for us to stand on our own. I did want to have you talk about like what a shadow coach does and how you've just melded so many modalities into your coaching and you create such a custom experience from a lot of different areas. And so I wanted to just give you an opportunity to talk about those things. Like, what does a shadow coach do? And what are these different modalities that you use to bring someone into that place of trusting their intuition and their walk?
Mhm. So shadow coaching essentially is bringing the unconscious to the conscious. So we all have patterns, we all have behaviors. It's like we jump out of one situation, right? And it's like we end up in the same situation, but there's different players. And we're like, how did I get here? Like, what's going on? So shadow coaching really helps you dive into that to figure out what the root of it is, so that you're more aware of it and you can choose differently if you want to. You know, it's it's really interesting to watch it unfold for people because the shadow coaching is kind of like just excavating. It's questioning like, hey, what's going on for you? What do you see has been coming up or repeatedly coming up? Or what can't you avoid anymore? And then it's like, okay, well, where do you feel that in your body? Where do you like, what do you see? And like sometimes it goes back to like, I remember when I was 3 and experiencing this for the first time. It's like, okay, so now what? And it's just this unraveling of patterns and choices and ending up in the same thing over and over and over and over again and thinking that it's going to change.
Right. And I remember doing my first shadow session with you. Um, and I remember this meditation of getting into this lotus and kind of going down into the basement of my life. And it can seem intimidating and scary when you're talking about shadows. But it really is, there is so much that's locked away in the subconscious that it's not conscious. So I love that explanation of it, that really we're just trying to be more conscious of the patterns that we're doing in our life. And some of them are good, but some of them don't serve us anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I love that. But I could tell you that I was a little bit nervous, like shadow, what my shadow, what's going on with my,
Yeah. Yeah. Because everybody associates it with darkness or like it's bad. And the sole purpose of our shadow is to keep us safe. Like the shadow is the part that holds um it's the pieces that we don't want people to see. Like for a long time I didn't show people my art because I was like, what if they don't like it? What if, and this, it was more a fear of like judgment. Well, what if they don't understand that I saw a wolf and a raven and those were my guides? What if it doesn't make sense to them that my essence to me looks like rainbow colors that swirl around and I'm like this big shiny center? But that's shadow being like, oh, we need to stay safe. Like, yeah, we don't want to be rejected. We don't want people to dislike us, and then the storyteller jumps in and the storyteller tells you all sorts of lies. I was like, oh, remember that one time in 4th grade when we did that art contest thing, but we didn't win? Or somebody made fun of us or told us, oh, honey, maybe art's really not your thing. So we go, oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't. But sometimes the shadow keeps us too safe. And it keeps us playing small. And that's when we need to go in and like find the shadow and work with it and let it know that like, oh, we don't need this anymore. Like, yes, it used to keep us safe. Maybe for a long time. But now it doesn't keep us safe. It keeps us in the little box of what we think everybody thinks we should be.
yeah, there's a lot of dissatisfaction that comes in life sometimes where we don't know how to be different. It's like we have
Mm-hmm.
these dreams or we have these things that we want to do, but that storyteller, and sometimes that storyteller, it's not a conscious story that we're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
These are feelings that
Right.
are locked away in the body. And so I can see where, when that can be unanchored and that weight
Mm-hmm.
lifted, and it's like, oh my gosh, things just open up in life. We can be the shiny center of our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I can be the shiny center of my life. I can be
Yeah.
the shiny center of my life.
Yeah. And I spent so much of my life making it dimmer, smaller, 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 smaller. To the point even that if I was doing something that I liked, like art or quilting or something like that, and somebody else was doing it and I got praised for it, but they didn't, I'd be like, oh, I need to quit doing that so that they don't feel bad. because I got praised and they didn't. So I had this whole long list of things of like, oh, I don't do that anymore because I did it better than so and so. Oh, I don't do that anymore. Until like, Janae, I was literally left with nothing. Nothing. Like, I'm
Wow.
like, I don't even know what I like to do.
Wow.
But I don't do anything because I don't want somebody else to feel smaller. So I was making my own self so small that I was like, wow, I didn't even know all this was missing from my life until I started painting again. And then it was like, I really like doing this. There's that piece. I'll take that back, please. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's actually really beautiful. It's just beautiful to see the passion behind what you do and the change that it's made in your life. I've known you for a long time, so I've
I know it's been a while.
yeah, we've both seen many versions of each other throughout.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even earlier before we hit record, didn't you say like there's more we thought we were in the depth of it, but wait, now we have to go deeper and now we have to go even deeper and now how far down does it go?
Right. Right. And it reminded me of last summer. I was north of Ketchum. There's an area where they call it the Bear Cave. So you have to hike up to it. And I was in like the middle-ish of my shadow coaching program. And I'm walking up, it's like a switchback type trail. And I'm walking up it and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going into this cave. But I'm walking up and I'm thinking, like, how many times do we think we have to go up? Like we do all the mantras, we do the yoga practices, we do the positive affirmations. So we're going up, but it's like we really need to go down. We need to go down deep and like find all the things that like don't fit anymore. And I was like, this is crazy. Like we got to go up so that we attain enlightenment or like whatever it is. And in the end, it's like, no, we have to go in. We have
Right.
to go deep.
Yeah. I agree with that. I recorded a podcast yesterday and we were talking about when the seed cracks open in spring, the seeds crack
Mm-hmm.
open. And not only is the
Mm-hmm.
seedling reaching up towards the light, but it has to create a root. It has to create a stable
Mm-hmm.
foundation. And so when we are looking to those deeper places within us, we can find nourishment down there. We can find security down there. We don't want to get stuck. We don't want our roots to grow
Mm-hmm.
that we're immovable.
Mm-hmm.
And then we look at the soil and what have we surrounded our life with? What nourishment have we surrounded our life with? And so this is kind of what I'm getting from this. Yeah, we're always looking to just be better.
Mm-hmm.
Where the depth and when the depth comes, we can expand, and then the depth and then
Mm-hmm.
expand a little bit more. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
I
beautiful.
love that.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a friend had posted a quote on Facebook today, and she said she was looking at the trees. It reminded me of the nourishment part piece that you said of that. She said, I was looking at the trees and I realized like trees root down so that they have their foundation. But a tree doesn't give up if the nourishment isn't there. It reaches its roots out farther and farther until it finds that.
Oh yeah.
So it
And
reminded me
oh
of
my
what you
God.
just said.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And also it's coming full circle to this mentor that you had. Like you just kept reaching out. There was no depth, right? It was like, oh, she thinks that I need to go this direction because it's not what I think it is. So there's this shallowness
Yeah.
that comes into our lives when we're constantly handing our power away to a higher authority,
Oh yeah.
that we're not trusting. It wasn't nourishment. It just kept you reaching and reaching and reaching in this shallow ground. And
Mhm.
then when you were able
Yeah.
to let that go, and I'd love to,
Yeah.
one of the questions that I had for you is, have you ever had a life-changing revelation through this work? And I'm kind of feeling like this was a life-changing revelation. So can you speak
Yeah.
a little bit more to like, what did you do? What snapped you out of it?
hmm what started it was actually a course with Kaya Ra. It was turning trauma into soul power. And I was just like, oh, I want to do this because my daughter at the time had moved in and she had trauma from the relationship that she left. And I did not, I was like, what is going on right now? Like, I do not understand, like, I couldn't understand her, her thought processes. I couldn't understand like her wanting to go back. And so when I saw this course, I was like, okay, well maybe this will help, and everybody has trauma. It's not all the same. Um, but I remember telling this mentor that I signed up for, or this teacher, whatever you want to call her, I signed up for this course. And she goes, of course you did. And I was like, okay, that's weird. But I was like, whatever. And Kyra had um, suggested the book by Peter Levine. Um, I don't remember what it's called, Healing Trauma or something or
Yes.
other.
Yeah.
And I remember reading it and I was just like, had like all these things flood back. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what is going on right now? And one of them was when I was 16, I was in a car accident in my dad's truck. And when he showed up, he didn't, he like walked straight past me, did not ask me how I was. He went to check on my sisters. But then, so I didn't feel seen or heard by him. The guy that I was in the accident with was a drunk driver. So he had no idea. We went later to the hearing. He had no idea. I was sitting in the room. The judge says, do you see who was in the accident with you? And he goes, I was told I was in an accident. So it's like, I wasn't seen or acknowledged by him. Anyway, so I message her and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm reading this. And I just had this random memory come up that I was in this accident. My dad didn't acknowledge, he didn't talk to me for 3 months. Um, and she messages back, you need mental help.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, so not only was I not seeing my dad by this guy that was in the accident, I'm also not seeing by you. All I needed you to do was just hear. I just needed you to witness it because I was like, oh wow. Um, so that's when I really started noticing that it was a situation where she was trying to make me dependent on her. And I had been, it's like, oh, you're right. You know better than me. Oh, I shouldn't do card readings because I don't want those kind of clients for reading for my other readings. Like, oh, okay. When it's like, no, I really like doing card readings because the cards don't have an agenda.
Right. They don't lie.
Um, and so that's what really set me on that was just like, and I finally just messaged her and she's like, oh, I haven't heard from you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like completely cutting ties from all spiritual groups, all energy groups, all everything. Like, I need to figure out what's me and what's not me. And that led into the creative coaching where I was like, oh, okay, I can reclaim all this creativity back for me because I really need that in my life. Like, I need to be making and creating. things all the time. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's art, if it's making dinner, if it's rearranging things in my house, like, to me, all of that's creating. Um, which then put me in touch with my shadow coaching teacher. And I had just done a free offering with her online, and I was just like, what is this? Because all it is written prompts. You're walking through the forest, you feel the sun on your face, you like all the things, like, what's coming up for you? And all these things come up that you're like, what? And I ended up winning a free session with her. And I almost didn't do it. My shadow almost like nixed that real quick. And because I was just like, oh, I don't know if I showed up the way that she said you have to show up to win this prize. Like, I feel like I missed something. Somebody else probably deserves it more than me.
That same
All the right. Let me give it all to you. But in the end, it came down to intuition and guidance, because I was like, okay, if working with this person is the right aligned action, then I need a sign. And, I like to play this game sometimes because sometimes it's crazy what comes through. So anyways, I say, if I'm supposed to work with this person, then, and this is like an hour or so before our call, I'm like, I can just email her and be like, sorry, something came up. And I realized that her name is two of my great grandmothers' names,
Wow.
Suzanne and Hannah. So Suzanne is a great grandmother of mine that I oil painted with her when I was like 8 or 9. And the other is a great great grandmother that she did like tea leaf reading, and she was a midwife, and she did like dousing for water and all those things. And I was like, okay, Suzanne, Hannah, here we go. Here we are. And I did the session with her, and when I was done, I was just like, oh my goodness, I can breathe better. Like, I have all this space. I have, what is this? And I thought about signing up that year, and I ended up not doing it because they're like, oh, I have all these things I need to do. I watch my grandson. I can't possibly take time for myself. But I ended up doing the intensives that they offered. And like, every time I was just like, what is this? Like, everybody needs this. Everybody needs more space to feel like they can breathe, to know that it's safe to be them or like reclaim more of them. And so, is that a long story longer? No.
I think that it's really highlighting like this is what you do now. That she became Suzanne, Hannah became your mentor. One of the questions that I had was, does this work surprise you on the regular? And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, it
Oh
does.
yeah.
You can hear Micah tell the story, and you can just see the surprise on the regular when we start to show up for ourselves, when our intuition takes over. Because I look behind you at that brightness of who you are, that sparkling you. Now they're at the wheel. They're at the wheel, not the story, not the,
Yeah.
And Micah's, she admitted, like, I tried to get out of this. I just tried to get out of it. But I think that when the intuition starts to kick in and we start to get to a point in our story where it's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I have nothing. You said I have nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just give everything away so nobody is hurt or intimidated or feels bad,
Yeah.
dimming yourself constantly. And I,
And
I
yeah, endlessly.
endless.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
know that there's someone out there or multiple someones that can relate to that. I think we could all relate to that. It's
Hmm.
like, what am I doing? Who am I? What is
Yeah.
happening? And what kind of a world do we live in? Right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
here you are. This is what you're doing. You were trained,
Yeah.
Suzanne Hannah.
Hmm.
This is what you're offering yourself.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's a crazy ride. Like the shadow work is a crazy ride. It You never know what's going to come up. You like Here's an example. Like when we were doing our coaching stuff, we had to do recorded videos. And somebody in my class had asked me, will you be my person? And I said, yeah. And that day I was thinking like, oh, I don't really, I can't really think of something. And I had this painting that had hung in my living room for 4 years. I had started it. Well, now it's been 5 years, but at the point that we did the call, it was 4 years. And I'm thinking like, I'll do this. It'll be easy. I'm just avoiding doing it and just being lazy. Well, we get talking about it, and um, he's asking me all these questions, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and like a year ago, I flipped it upside down for different perspective, you know, and he's still asking me all these questions. And he's like, well, what does the painting have to say? And I was like, oh, okay. So, we go into that, and I was just like, oh, great. This painting for 4 years is reflecting back to me, and I'm not hearing. I'm not being seen. I'm not being heard. I'm not being acknowledged. I'm just hanging here on your wall.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap. I've been staring at my life on my wall this whole time and didn't like, of course, people aren't hearing me because I'm not hearing myself, or I'm silencing myself. So of course that's going to show up in my life. I was just like, what? So I took the painting off the wall and I primered all over the whole thing, big circles everywhere. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your message. Thank you for, and I started the painting over.
And what did it become? Like, I'm at the edge of my seat.
It's so funny because I started the painting and I realized last week or the week before that I ended in the exact same spot that I had before 5 years ago. And I'm looking at it and I'm like mad about it at this point because I'm like, okay, for months, this painting has been sitting in the exact same space, exact same ending. Like the colors are different, the shapes are different. It looks different, but I had stopped in the exact same place. And I was like, okay, this is my shadow. I'm avoiding something somewhere. And it's like, okay, am I ready to let go of all the things that happened with the painting the first time? Because it was, oh, I can't work on it because I have Liam. I can't work on it because I got a puppy. I can't work on it because I'm too tired. Like all the excuses, all the stories. And so I'm sitting looking at it and I'm like, okay, so what if like this is the one thing? It's like the one step that I have to take to move past what's on this painting. What if it's like the one thing that breaks like everything open? And so, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna paint on it. And then one night I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go work on my painting. And I get upstairs and I'm like, I didn't bring the painting upstairs because my art is upstairs in a separate room. And I'm like, okay. And at that point, I'm just like upset because they're like, don't want to go back downstairs to get the painting to bring it upstairs. And so I don't. It's like, whatever, not doing it, not doing it. Too hard, too hard. So it was a couple days and I was finally like, okay, this is it. I just gotta get it off, take it upstairs, take the other painting off the wall, put that one on there, and I just like sit down, like nobody call me, nobody text me. Like I have to do, I don't have to do. I want to do, and I'm choosing to take this next step to see what it opens up, to see what it shifts, and to be done with like, okay, I'm ready to move on from the past. The past does not dictate anymore where I'm at now. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the insight. So it's still a work in progress. And the last layer that I put on it, I could see myself in this bubble of like a veil, and on the outside it's like all these pink and magenta, like swirling clouds and colors, and I could see myself with my hands on the barrier.
Wow.
Of like, okay, I'm holding the barrier right now. I'm acknowledging that it's there. I'm thanking it for being there. But the next step is to push through it. So that's one of those things with shadow coaching that it's like, nobody saw that coming. I'm thinking like, it's a silly painting. What?
But it's not, it's a representation of your life, you know, and
Yeah.
that's the interesting piece where like you've melded these different modalities into, we're not just talking about life. We're
Mm-hmm.
literally, things are representing our life in what we hang on our walls, who we are, what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And it is kind of funny when you think like, ask the painting and you're like, wow, it's just reflecting me right back. It's
I was like bawling because
oh
I
I
was like,
yeah,
are you kidding me?
yeah,
Are you
it's
kidding
like
me? Like
I,
it's been screaming
nobody
at me the whole time.
yeah, it's literally such a mirror moment. That is such a mirror moment to me. And so
Yeah.
and I love that it is, because you do paint in layers. I've seen progressions of your painting. So underneath the actual painting, there could be 50 other paintings underneath there of just this
Yeah.
evolving of what happens. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's just, to me, it's just this huge piece of energy that just keeps growing and getting redefined. And even though you're painting over it, what's under there is still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different energy now.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah. And that's why I decided like I needed to take it down and primer over it. Like my family is like, you're not really gonna do that, are you? I'm like, yes. They're like, what? I'm like, the painting, like myself and the painting are both completely different beings than when I painted this the first time. Like I separated from that mentor. I decided what was right and wrong for me. I did a certification for creativity coaching and shadow coaching. It's like, that's not who I am now.
yeah, it's the evolvement of you, this evolvement
Yeah.
of you. Yeah, I love that.
Um,
So I want to shift gears a little bit because I know how much you love nature. Like you'll message me, you're like, I'm off the grid for a while, so I may not be able to
yes.
get back to you if you're texting me. And so I wanted
Yeah.
to know, like, I wanted people to know, like, you hike mountains, you're clearing energy, you are finding lost lakes and, just going out there. And I wanted to
Yeah.
know how, and you also put a lot of videos of streams on your
Hmm.
Instagram. Like, I can hear the bubbling of the water, which is, I feel like I'm right there. So, what is
Yeah.
the role that nature plays in your life?
For me, especially the running rivers, like the streams or the rivers that you can hear it, moving over the rocks is the sound in the space for me that if I have like all of the mental chatter and I can't, it's just like chaos up here. If I go to the river or a stream, it just like washes out for me the extra. It's just like, okay, I can breathe, I can flow, because you watch the water and the water doesn't care that there's rocks there. It doesn't care that there's sticks or grass or like whatever in its way. It's like, oh, okay, we'll go over and under now instead of going through or um so yeah, especially the last 4 years, like rivers and streams just running water of any type will almost instantly get me back to center and bring me to a point of like if I'm trying to figure something out, it's like I can see I can see the way through it. Or I can see the steps of like, okay, this is the next right aligned action. And if it's off grid, like I love that even more. It's like, oh, no phones, no computers, no, oh, I have to read a book and paint. Oh, darn. You know? Oh, I get to walk in nature and I'm the person that like I don't listen to music or something else when I'm walking in nature. Like I want to hear what's around me. I want to see how the leaves move in the breeze. Or, I'm the person that's like, hi, little guy, when they see a chipmunk or a bird or whatever, it's like, hello, little, hello, beautiful flowers, hello, whatever. I don't know. It's like, it's just a happy place.
Yeah, I feel like you have just this immense connection with everything, with paintings, with people, with plants, with nature, with streams. And to me, that tells me how in tune you are with your intuition. Because when we take things for granted, we're not tuned into them. We don't see those little messages. We don't give them acknowledgement. Like you're acknowledging the little chipmunk,
Yeah.
right? Who acknowledges the
Yeah.
chipmunks, right? You acknowledge the chip. Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's how I am too. I'm just like, well,
Hmm.
hello. How long have you been here?
Right.
And
Hello,
it,
little friend.
yeah, yeah. It really is
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
And
I love that.
I think that we don't spend enough time in nature. I feel
Hmm.
the more time that we can spend in nature, the better. The,
Yeah.
it is a natural medicine. Nature is a medicine for sure.
Yeah.
And I,
And I love going in nature also and just like, you know, clearing the area if there's energy that needs cleared or like last summer we hiked up to Baker Lake and there's a burn area and I was just like, I am so sorry you lost your homes. This is and it was just like heavy walking through there. It's like, I see you.
Yeah, there's a bareness that happens, and life is,
Hmm.
it will never be the same. It will never
Yeah.
be the same. Those trees, those plants, those animals are all in a different place now.
Hmm.
Has to recover and regenerate, and that's kind of a mirror in our lives too. Sometimes we get to those dark nights of the soul where, like what you said, you didn't even know who you were. You didn't know what you liked. You were nothing.
Yeah. And then it's like, let's burn it all to the ground.
Hmm.
Everything we don't like. Okay, let's start watering it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
And
bring these other things in.
for people to know that, because there are people that are watching that are in that place now where they're
Mhm.
like, I am at a loss of what to do. I don't know what my next step is going to be. I don't know what I like. I don't know who I am.
Mhm.
And so to know that there are coaches that, that's your passion. That's your place where it's like,
Yeah.
let's take a look. And
Yeah.
it's such an enjoyable way. There's a lot of
Mhm.
tears, but there's a lot of laughter too.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is so beautiful. Yeah, I really love.
Yes, both the grief and the joy, the
Yeah,
sadness and love, like all of,
yeah.
I
That it
mean,
will be there.
and and my teacher Suzanne Hanna always says, like, you have to feel it to heal it.
Yeah.
And every time she would say that when I first started the training, I was like, don't sing that. I don't want to feel it. It's too much. There's too many tears. There's too much, anger, sadness, grief, like all of it.
Yeah. You can
And
feel
it's,
a little wrung out there at some of those moments, right? Because
yeah.
what's happening is that there are paradigms that are being broken, and there
Hmm.
are patterns that are being shown that that they don't serve you. In you denying who you are and you stepping back and letting somebody else shine, that was not
Hmm.
you living an authentic life.
It
And,
was
and
not.
the part that we have to face is that when we're in that place, and we can blame, we can make excuses, we can do all
Oh, yeah.
kinds of things,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But when we're actually faced with the truth, and it's like we are feeling it, we are wrung out, and but then that's when the seed cracks open and that little shoot
Right.
comes out, and it's like, you know what, no, this is the growth that I should have been on, or that, I'm in alignment. I'm finding this new alignment, because I shouldn't say that we should have been on. It's easy to say, well, gosh, if I just had this happen or that happen, or if somebody intervened
Hmm.
at this time or that time, but we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And the
Yeah.
version of ourselves is who we are supposed to be for the people in our lives, and what it is that we are doing in the world.
Yeah. And I feel like it also shows us, or it showed me, like, that's not where I want to be. I don't want to go back there again. Like, I already did it. I didn't like the end result of my choices and my actions. So it showed me where I didn't, you know, I don't want to go again. And with the mentor teacher situation, it's like, I don't want to be that person to the people that come to me. Like, I want you to be empowered. I want you to be like, I can do this. Me, I can do this. I
Yes.
don't need anybody. Like, I choose to have people in my life. I choose to bring in these people to help me on my journey, but I'm the most important person on this journey. I don't have to rely on somebody to tell me what's right and wrong for me.
Right. Because it creates that dependency. You had said that you were dependent on that mentor. It was like you couldn't trust yourself. And
Yeah,
that is not coaching. That is not
yeah,
coaching. Uh,
yeah,
that's more of an enabling, that is them getting their self-esteem through you're
Mhm.
paying them. It's
Uh-huh.
function. It's dysfunction. And
Yeah, and we were definitely in a codependent relationship where it was like, even if I felt like, oh no, I should tell her that's not right, it's like, I didn't want her to see it. I like, oh yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like, it wasn't healthy on either side,
right, right.
but it was a good
Take
lesson to
somebody,
be like, this isn't where I want to be.
yes, it
This
takes
isn't
somebody,
who I want to be.
yes. And it takes that person to step, somebody has to step out of the pattern of codependency. Honestly, somebody
Yeah.
has to step out. It has to be too painful for, it could be either place. We can find ourselves
Hmm.
in either place, but it takes someone to literally be so sick of denying themselves to finally get out. And it is painful, and yeah, and it can lead to a shedding. It leads to lost
Hmm.
relationships. It leads to a lot of self-doubt. Did I do the right thing?
Hmm.
And all of these things. But Suzanne, because I know Suzanne as well, and she has you on the path, and sometimes the path nobody has walked before is what she says. And so
Hmm.
there are
Hmm.
sticks in the way, there's brush that you have to, that's scratching you, that's painful, that's causing you to bleed. There's hot sun where you just need water, or you might feel lost and you're crying because you're like, am I ever going to get out of this wilderness? But then our path does get more well defined, and we do start to trust that intuition in who we are. And on this whole journey that has taken you to where you are now, because I know that there'll be many more versions of us, which I'm really excited to
Oh yes.
see, right? But
Yes.
what are you most grateful for in your life right now?
Let's see. That's a big one, right?
Yeah,
Like there's so many. Um, I think I'm most grateful for community, for others who are on similar journeys, because I feel like it's easy to get caught in, I am the only one that's on this journey. I am the only one this has happened to. But when you have community and you have friends and you have good teachers and good mentors, it's like, oh my gosh, me too. That happened to me. This is how I got out. Where are you at? How can I support you? How can I support you in this journey? Do you need support? It's like just that, knowing that other people have either been there or they're with you, or you're able to be there for somebody that's like just coming into it. So I would say community and
I love that,
friendship.
which is beautiful. And I can't tell you how many times Micah has sent me a text like, I see you, Janae, I see you in this. Or I'm here for you. How can I support you? Is there anything that I can do for you? And it means so much to have somebody that does see you. When you're somebody who has not been seen, it's like you make sure that your people are seen. You are making sure
Yes.
that you are showing up for them, because how many times were you walking through the dark, right? And how many times
Yeah.
were you the only one? where
Mm-hmm.
where we live, it's not really, there's a lot of times where we feel like we're the only ones, or there's a lot
Like
of others
we're
that
the
are,
weirdo out.
yeah. And then all of a sudden there's this explosion, and I'm kind of thinking about a conversation that we had one time where you were like, yeah, then there's this explosion of, oh, did you hear that this person's doing that and this person's doing that? And you're like, I've been doing that for all this time.
Right.
Again,
Right. Yeah.
they didn't see you, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
fashionable.
Right. But it goes back to that, like, the painting and not being seen. And it's like, well, I didn't see myself. How are other people supposed to see me?
Exactly.
And I appreciate that you do the same for me. You're like, hey, you've been quiet.
Yeah. On.
Or whatever, like, what was your post about?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
I
great
tend to
to
bridge.
have that.
Yeah.
of just knowing.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoy having you in my life. I'm so happy
Same.
that our paths have crossed and that um, it's just been something that has blossomed and grown. And you're somebody that I really trust and love and adore.
Yes, I feel the same about you.
And where can people find you? So if they're like, hey, I need a shadow coach, or I love to be creative and I want to paint,
Mhm.
how can they find you?
I'm on Instagram mostly, just my name, Mikea_K. Um, I have a business page, but I've been like, not, not super great about posting on it, which is the Alchemy Muse. I'm in the process of getting my website up, which will just be my name, MikeaKnopp.com. Um, so
So
yeah.
that's coming soon.
Yes, coming soon. It was funny because I started working on it and I realized I was putting like all these images and pictures of things that I thought people would think I'm supposed to be. Like pictures of tarot cards and crystals and like, these energy vortexes and stuff. And I had gone to a friend and had an energy clearing. And in the clearing, my guides were showing me like, no, you need to switch it to this, which was pictures of like nature because you invite people back to their true nature. And I was like, oh my God, okay, yes, I can do that. So I
Beautiful.
went back and had to read, and I'm just tweaking the words right now. So maybe by the time this is released, it will be out.
Maybe so. Yeah, I hope so. I know it's something that you've been working really hard on, and I know you want to offer something that is authentic and beautiful and that is you. And sometimes it takes just because we get to a certain point in life doesn't mean that everything's perfect, that we still don't have struggles. And
Yeah.
I know that even just putting your website together, yeah, it's like that's going to bring up some shadows as well. And again, bringing us back to that same old issue that started and has been with us for so long. And it's like,
Mhm.
gosh, I thought I kicked that piece of me long out here, out of the
Right.
universe, out of everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Nope.
nope,
Another layer.
another
Another
layer.
layer.
Yep, another layer. But that's what creates true wisdom and true authenticity, and also just a true scene. Because to be a coach, you really have to see that person and guide them to a place. And so it's beautiful. So thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank
today,
you. Thank
and
you.
um,
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. So I am going to say goodbye. I'll let you say goodbye to everyone.
Bye.
Well, maybe, maybe not. We're going to keep going.
Oh, they want to keep us.
We must have one more thing to say.
We'll stay with you just a little while longer.